So let's get ready for our fourth lesson, and today we're going to be talking about if, else, and if loops. And also our TA Gabe is not gonna be with us because he has a scheduling conflict. So if you have any questions, speak up or put in the chat and I will answer your questions. So let's get started. This is our lesson objectives. I am going to teach you these things, and then after it, we're gonna demo. William, can you? Okay, good. Thank you. After I teach the if statements, we are going to do a demo in Replit, and then you are going to create your own interactive program. It doesn't really have to be very complicated. We are going to only use the things that we have learned, and I have also incorporated a couple of slides for review at the end if you need. All right, so let's get started. So first thing, let's talk about the components of the loop. For starters, we have the if, which signifies the beginning of the if loop, and if isn't like any of the variables we've met before. It's more of a action that like you take. So instead of like giving it a value like we have been for doing like the ends, the string, we've been giving them like a number or a double or a line or a word. We've been giving them these values. You don't do that for if. For if, what we do is we see if the condition, which we first have a condition and we check that condition is true or not. And depending on that condition is true or not, we then execute the code that's in the parentheses. So for example, you guys can see here, we have this large parentheses and this like end of the large parentheses, and whatever's in here is the code that is supposed to be executed. Whatever is in the curved parentheses, these parentheses right here, is the condition that we are going to check if true. So the if loop is basically like this. If the condition is true, so for example, if number is greater than 0, then we execute the code. The number if is 5, and 5 is greater than 0, so that is true. So if whatever's in the parentheses is true, then we execute whatever's in the larger parentheses. Okay, does that make sense? Now let's talk about the else statements. The else statements are something that we add on top of the if statements. For if, we simply have if this is true, then you do this. But for else, we add another step to that. If this is true, you do this. If it's not true, you do that. So for example, if number is greater than 0, we do this. If number is not greater than 0, we do this. Whatever is in the large parentheses after else. And let's take a look. Int number equals 5. 5 is greater than 0, so we do what's in the first orange line. And then we skip else and move on to the third orange line.
Excuse me?
Yes, what's your question?
No, I think someone else has a question. Look in the chat.
Oh, Ethan? Oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me in the chat, William. So Ethan, what is the hash? Oh, so the double slashes means comment, and the code, it's just saying that you put code in there. It does double slash code. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just like a placeholder. Like it's telling you that you put code in that place, and that's the code you want to do. So if let's say you are asking, you have a program that you want to make that asks for a person's age, and then if that person is older than 18, the program returns the person says the person is adult. If the person is younger than 18 years old, the program says the person is not an adult. So what you would do, you would put the system.out.println over here, and you can put other stuff in here, but basically this is what this is the code that gets executed if this condition is true. Okay, this is just a placeholder. The person didn't actually want to. I found this image online, and the person who made this image doesn't really want to have a specific set of code, so they just put like a sort of placeholder thing in here. Does that make sense? You can put anything in here, basically. Okay. So where was I? I was talking about condition is true. So if condition is true, so if this is true, we do whatever comes in here, and anything can be put in here. If you want to print something out, if you want to change the value of an int, if you want to change the value of a string, if you want to change the value of a boolean or double, you can do that. But it's on the condition if this is true. If this is true, you can do this. If this is not true, let's take a look over here. If this is not true, int is not small, the number is not smaller than 5, then we go to else. So if the condition in the parentheses is false, we go straight to else and we execute whatever's over here. So if and else, only one gets executed. If the condition is true, we execute the code in if. If the condition is false, we execute the code. In else, and then we move on. Okay. So let's do it in the computers. Let's go through it one more time in the computers sense. Over here, the computer takes a look at, okay, we are setting up a new int called a number, and the value of number is 5. Now this line ends because there's a semicolon, and we move on to this line. Okay, if this number is greater than 0, I do this, and I check if number is greater than 0, and I find that number is greater than 0. Because number is greater than 0, I execute whatever's in here. Now I move on to this line, and I see this if loop ended, and this else loop is open. Well, I already executed whatever's in the if loop, so I don't execute what's in the else loop. So the computer automatically skips everything that's in the else loop, which includes everything that's in these two parentheses, and it goes straight to the next line, whatever code comes after whatever code that comes after. So the first thing that the computer executes is this line, then it executes this line, this like set of instructions, then it skips this set of instructions and it executes this set of instructions. Likewise, if the condition is false, the computer goes over here, executes this instruction, checks if this instruction should execute, and it sees, oh, number is not smaller than 0. This is false, so I don't execute this set of instruction. I move on and execute this set of instruction. So after executing this set of instruction, the computer moves on and then execute whatever code that comes after. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, let's move on to else if statement. Ethan, hold your horses for a minute. Once I go through everything and we do a little bit of review, there's going to be a break, and then I'm going to do a demo, and then you can see what I do and what you do and compare the differences. So you are very fast. You're a little bit too far along the tracks right now. Hold your horses for a minute. Oops. Next, let's talk about else if statement. So else if statement comes after if statement and before else. So it's always like that. You can have in a set of if loop. So this if, else if, and else comes is like a set. If you have an if loop, if you have an if, you don't need an else if or else, but if you want an else, you definitely have to have an if. Okay, so if always at the beginning, and then sometimes we do else if, sometimes we do else, sometimes we just do all three. And then else if, not mandatory, but if you will have if, you can have it, and else also always comes after else if, and then else always comes last. So this is always first, this is always second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. You can have multiple else ifs, you can have as many else ifs as you want, and else always comes last. Okay, that's just how it's formatted. Now, if the instructions include if, like if and else if, it only executes if the condition is true. So else if also has a condition after it, and it only executes if the condition is true. Else has no condition, and if it arrives there, it always executes. So for example, let's take a look at this. Int time equals 22. If time is smaller than 10, we print good morning. Is time smaller than 10? No, 22 is not smaller than 10. So we move on to else if. Else if time is smaller than 20, we print good day. Well, time is 20, 22. 22 is not smaller than 20, so this is not true. And since it's not true, since it's false, we move on to the next instruction. Next instruction is else. So since we arrived at else, we automatically print out good evening. So this output, good evening. Now, if time is not 22, but 15, what do you think will be printed out? Put your answers in the chat. Nathan and Ethan, you guys are correct. It is good day. So the reason for that is, let's run this over. So first, time equals 15. Since time equals 15, is this true? No, this is not true. 15 is not smaller than 10. Since this is false, we move on to else if. Else if time is smaller than 20. Well, 15 is smaller than 20, so this is true. And since this is true, we execute whatever's in this instructions. And the instruction is print good day, so we print good day. Well, since we finished executing this, we skip else and we automatically go to the next line, and the next line is a comment, so nothing gets executed. So the code ends there. Okay. Smiley face said it's good morning. Well, maybe did you confuse time and the true false statement in the condition? Okay. Well, so if you confuse time, that's okay. Well, I put in a chat, and maybe it's not as direct. Well, but just remember, anything that's false does not get executed. If this is false, this does not get executed. If this is false, this does not get executed. And if nothing gets executed, else gets executed. Okay? Now let's review logical operators a bit. And if both operators are true, then the condition becomes true. So if A is true, B is false, A and B is false. Or if any of two operands are true, then condition becomes true. Interesting comment, William, very interesting. So if any of the two operands are true, then the condition becomes true, not reverses the state of the operand. So basically, you guys will be needing these once you start coding. And I will be demonstrating that in the chat, not in the chat, in Replit a little bit later. And also, let's go over scanner for a little bit before we do the demo, because we will be needing scanner for the interactive activity you guys are going to do later. So scanner, again, something that you can be used to scan your input and use it to interact with the program. And that's these few bullet points right here show you how you can set up a scanner. So first we type out what type of variable it is. It's a scanner. And is short circuit and for if statements. What do you mean, William? Short circuit? Oh yes. We will not be using a single and. Yes. So and single and is for Boolean values. Double and is for if statements. We will not be using single and in this class. We will only be using double and. Single and I think is a bitwise operator. That's not in the curriculum of this class. Bitwise operators are a bit too complicated for you guys to understand, and it's not very useful in the general sense. So we will only be using double and, which is for if statements. But you said that very correct. That's very correct. All right, so let's get back to scanner. So scanner, we first define what type it is. It's a scanner type of variable. Then we name it. We can name it scan, we can name it console, we can name it whatever. I out of habit name it scan. I think most people name it scan or console or something of the like. And then we define it. When we define it, it's always the same. It's always new scanner, parentheses, system.in, close parentheses. That's how you define it. This never change. Also, don't forget the semicolon at the end. I forgot the semicolon over there. And then whatever you scan will be input, like it will be set as the value of some other variable. So scanning inputs there, we went over 4 different type of variables. And then scanning them will, of course, is different. So for string, we say scan.next line or console.next line. Because it's like it's a word or like several words, so it's line. Int age, scan.next int, double, scan.next double, verify, scan.boolean, scan.next boolean. So that's pretty simple. Does that make sense? Okay, if that makes sense, I will be giving everyone 2 minutes to pull up Replit. How do you get to the website? Okay, so you open a new tab in whatever browser you're using, and then you search Replit. And then the first thing that comes up is the Replit IDE, and then you click login. We set up an account in the first in our first class. If you don't have an account, that's fine. You can just watch. I know some of my students, some of us are so young that we don't have an email yet. That's okay. And then you log in. And then you containing a boat. Okay. How many of these are boats? Oh, is that a boat too? Okay. You do this, and then it lets you log in. And after you log in, you create a new REPL. Click on Java, name your REPL whatever you want it to be named. Okay. Is everybody, like most of everybody, have Replit set up? Okay. All right then. Now let's. For right now, let's. Okay, good. All right. So we can see here this is the format that if and this is just for demo, and the meeting is recorded, so there's really no need to paste it in the chat. You don't have to type anything along. I'm just doing a demo. Okay. So you can, if after the demo you want this as a reference, I can put it in the chat, but like not now. Well, I feel like after the demo you guys will like know enough about this. You don't need the like this sort of code. So first, I made an int called a name. That's has the let me actually change this to age. So I've made an int called age that has a value of 17 because I'm 17 years old. Now, if age is less than 20, the system will print Cindy is less than 20 years old. If age is not 17, it will print Cindy is more than 20 years old. So let's run that. And what do you guys think will be printed out? What do you guys think will be printed out? Well, the answer is already there. Cindy is less than 20 years old. This is what is printed out. Now, what if I want to change it? Change it using inputs? Well, we can also do that. Let's set it as 0. And let's change this to name. Likewise, let's change it to name. And okay, so int age, no, not int name, string name equals a space. So let's system.out.print. If I make the computer ask, hi, what is your name? And I make name equals scan.next line, name will become whatever I input. Then if I make the computer ask, hi, what is your age? Then age will be equal to whatever integer I put in the next line. So this time, who should I impersonate? All right, let me impersonate my mom, Grace. So my mom's name is Grace, and she is 45 years old. And so then, since 45 is greater than 45 is not less than 20, so age is smaller than 20 is false. Because it's false, it automatically goes to else. And because it automatically goes to else, system.println prints Grace is more than 20 years old. Okay. Does anybody want to be a volunteer? Okay, Nathan. How old are you? 9. You are 9. Okay. So let me put your name is Nathan, and your age is 9. So Nathan is less than 20 years old. All right. Now let's change this up a little bit. You can put an integer, like a int double in here, or you can put variables in here. And now I want to put a variable in here. Let's do, what should I name this? So 18 is the legal age to vote, and 21 is the legal age to drink alcohol. So if we do this, so step 1, name is a legal adult. Let's change this to else if age is smaller than step 2. Wait, greater than equal to step 1. So if we run this and we keep using Mason, why is my computer so slow? All right, if we keep using Mason as example, well, 9 is not greater than or equal to 18. 9 is also not greater than or equal to 21. And that means Mason gets put into else, which is less than 18 years old. All right, let's run it again. Let's use my friend Kevin. He is 19, I think. I hope he's 19. Anyways, so 19 is greater than or equal to 18, so he is a legal adult. Okay, and then because if got executed, automatic skips else if and else, and goes straight to whatever is after that. And so this is what's getting printed out. Now there are many different things that you can put. You don't really have to only be using string, not using int or double. You can also make a let me think. What was the thing that William? No, Ethan. Yeah, Ethan said earlier he tried to make a program. So if it was true, it would say you win, and there are errors. Okay, let's comment this out and uncomment this. So what happens here? We set up scanner in here, and then we ask the user to input true or false. So verify equals whatever boolean we put next, so it's either true or false. If verify equals true, then we print out you win. If verify is else, if verify is false, you lose. And we run this. It will ask us to input true or false. Let me input true. You win. So, Ethan, does that answer your question? Okay. Is it because you didn't import scanner? You have to import scanner up here. Don't forget to import scanner. For you, because scanner isn't something that Java has on its own because it's not like used all the time. Now, I want you guys to make your own interactive program where you can interact with the computer. You can make it anything. You don't have to be limited to like an age calculator or like an input true or false that I've come up with so far. You can make like a food calculator. You can make if like a poem thing. You don't have replit? Well, that's okay. Nathan, you can still write some code and then put it in the chat, and on a screen, on my separate monitor, I can run it for you and give you feedback. You don't really have to be coding. If you don't want to use if or scanner, that's totally okay. You can still, make a like a program that prints out lines of a poem. Like some of you guys are quite young, and even if you make a program that just prints out lines of a poem, that's still pretty cool. Is anybody else struggling with you're better at Python coding? Yeah, well, Java and Python, personally, I think Java and Python have a lot of similarities. So you can try your hand at it. Even if you don't succeed, it's still like a learning experience. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, if you don't have any other questions, you can go straight to coding. After you code, volunteers can share their code with me, and I can, volunteers can invite me to invite me, and my email is, once you invite me to edit on your code, so copy and paste my email in here and then invite me. After you invite me, I can look at your code, and I can share screen and then share your code with the class. If you make something that's interesting you want to share with the class, we're going to do it that way. Okay. If no other questions, we will come back at 3:55, 10 minutes, and you guys can show me what you guys coded in the 10 minutes.
So what can we do with our code?
You can code anything that you want with the material that we learned already. If you know stuff that we haven't learned already, that's okay too. Just use whatever you know about Java to code any program you want to like. You want to code, so there's no limitations. Okay, guys, does anybody want to share their project? If nobody wants to share their project, should I share my project? Okay, you did a Python project instead. Well, you can definitely share with the class if we have time some other time, but this is a Java class, and if anybody have a Java related project that you guys want to share? No, okay. Then I'll share my project and we can very quickly go through it. Okay, so I made a food calculator. Here you're not done. Well, unfortunately, we only have 1 hour of class time every Wednesday and Friday. If you want to share your project, you can stay after class, and maybe we can find some time next class to share it. So for my project, it first asked me if I want burgers or pizza, and if I input burgers, it checks if the food is equal to burgers. If I input pizza, it checks if the food is equal to pizza. If I type burgers, it tells me each burger costs $4 and how many do I want. If I input pizza, pizza costs $2 each slice, and how many do I want? So let's say I want 5. And it tells me I ordered 5 burgers and my total is this much. Likewise, if I put input if I want pizzas, it will also tell me pizzas cost $2 per slice. How many do I want? Wow, this is slow. Basically, if I say I want pizza and I input I want 2 slices of pizza, it's gonna tell me I ordered 2 pizzas and my total is gonna be $4. Nope. See, so this is how an interactive program, my interactive program works. If you didn't finish, that's okay. You can keep working on it. And if you want to share it with me or with the class, we can do so next time. If you don't, if you for some reason couldn't get your program to work, you can stay after class. I can help you guys. For those of you who finished with the program and don't have any questions, class is officially over.